The Submariner has just dropped, and he is perhaps one of the most interesting and generous cards that I've played in a while, and let me show you why. So, the Submariner is a 1/2 that reads, when this is empowered, add a random 1-cost character to your hand with that same increase, if hand or in play. So this card is a lot like Clear in a way. It doesn't generate the skills like Clear does, but it does generate a bunch of other cards for you to play, and that does work quite well with things like Victoria Hand and Gambit Horseman, right? I think people are kind of going more down the lanes of playing him in a deck where you just buff as much as possible. And while I do think that is a cool route for this card, I have played a lot of those kind of decks recently as well on this channel, so I thought I'd change it up a little bit. This deck that I have for you, I think, is probably the sort of home he will end up in. And it's more based off of generating the cards than it is trying to get big power cards. So here it is. This is the deck. I don't have a fancy name for it, so I've just stuck with Mariner for now. But you can kind of see roughly, just by looking at it, the vague idea I was going for here. Just trying to give a bunch of smaller buffs out to the card to generate things that work with the deck in a way that Clear also does. Let me just break it down for you guys. So first off, we have Agony. Agony is actually a pretty good card in this style deck. It counts towards buffing things like Clear and Submariner, and for Submariner especially, it counts as a +2 buff, so you're always getting a 1-drop in your hand with 2 power as well, which is very nice. It's a fairly cheap way of doing that. It's not really used elsewhere in the deck aside from giving Submariner and Clear buffs, which is probably one area I could look into improving. Maybe I find a card that also benefits off of buffs, and trust me, there's been a lot recently, so they're in abundant supply, so I wouldn't worry about that. In case you did want to shift some of these cards around, we have Submariner obviously, and Clear. They both work in a similar vein. So in my Venus video, when she released, I had a deck that was based around skills and buffing cards to generate skills. Now that is a pretty good place to have something like Submariner in as well. I just didn't want to go full all out on the Venus synergy when there's a lot of things in this deck that buff in hand as well, which kind of becomes a bit of a problem. I would probably suggest trying her though. Playing her after Collector especially would be insane. That guy gets 1 power for each card, so it's going to trigger multiple times. Then you've got Marvel Boy and Kahori, and I think that's it. I guess Agony technically works, and Hitmonkey. Hitmonkey is only like 1 extra power though. And then like 1 of Hawkeye's arrows. So there are some opportunities for it to work, especially Mother Ascani and her. I'll get to what I would recommend cutting for her shortly, but for now, keep that in mind for going through this in case that is something you'd rather run. Collector is actually extremely important in this deck. It is also possible to run something like Devil Dino here. Now, in the leaked cards that I did yesterday for August's season, there are some cards that are based around having full hands, and I know for sure Madthink is probably going to see some appearances there. I was almost tempted to suggest putting him in this deck. He's a 1-drop that works with Marvel Boy, right? And there was a lot of turns that my hand was completely full. So maybe don't sleep on that card, keep an eye on it. I think I generated it at one point and used it in the deck, and it was pretty good. Then we have Black Swan. Black Swan is very important because across the course of the game, you're either going to be generating things very slowly and winning off of like Hitmonkey combos at the end, or you're going to have a load of 1-drops and your hand's been full and you need to get rid of those. Black Swan is important for that, and also can catch the opponent by surprise. They probably don't expect the level of power that you actually have in your hand based off the buffs you've been giving cards, which gives Submariner some snap equity, really. Then we have Hawkeye Kate Bishop. Probably interchangeable for other things, I think, but generating 1-drops in your hand is very, very important in a deck like this where you're going to want to try and get things for Marvel Boy and for Collector, but also just trying to fill your hand up for Hitmonkey and other things. It does have the Acid Arrow, which catches opponents off guard as well. That's always recommended to put a card like Hawkeye in a deck like this. I still think she ranks fairly high on the tier list for cards. Then we have Marvel Boy. I think Marvel Boy is probably the most important card in this deck. He is the drive engine for generating Submariner and Clear cards. It's very important. Do keep an eye on if you have Submariner and Clear on the board and you keep generating loads of cards, because there were a couple of occasions where I was like, I actually want to see if I can get Gambit, so I'm not going to fill my hand entirely, until I realized I'd played Kahori and Marvel Boy was on the board, and before I knew it, my hand was just completely full again. Again, another reason why Mad Thinker could be actually used in this. We're not mad for thinking that, am I? I can't believe I went to say that instinctually, and then I realized what I was saying. But yeah, it could. You never know. Hitmonkey. Hitmonkey is pretty important, but also technically could be cuttable. It's mainly in here because if you double it with Mother Ascani, it's very, very important. Getting like 2 of those on the last turn that cost 2. Similar with Gambit as well. Getting those 2 on the last turn is pretty good. Then there's Viv. Now, Viv isn't super important, but having something that can buff the cards that are in your hand, as well as having something that can buff them on the board, is important, especially seeing as Clear and Submariner both work off procs off of hand as well. And that's perfect for Collector, right? If you have Collector down and then Viv is proccing those cards in your hand, it's getting extra power, and your opponent is probably wondering like what's going on. But I think Clear's ability actually shows on board, and maybe Submariner's too. But I haven't played against Submariner, so I'm not actually sure. Then we have Gambit. I think Gambit is probably the first cuttable card. There weren't a lot of instances where I was unable to get the ability off, but there were a lot of games where I kind of relied on location variants to actually help me get Gambit off. Like, I never remember the names of them, but the one that gives you a 0-cost 6-drop, or the one that turns them into Hulks, or the one that gives you a monster from Monster Island, that sort of stuff. If you do have a bunch of stuff going where you keep getting Submariners and Clear things, and Hawkeye's arrows, and then you can Black Swan them all at the last turn, that's perfect, because you should probably have 6 cost of cards at that point. You don't really need to worry about it. The other place you can technically get procs towards Gambit is Mother Ascani. Creating the duplicated card, just bear in mind you need to play the duplicated one, not the original one. If you reach a point where you can only play one, that is. But you could technically cut it and put it like something like Venus, maybe Bishop, you know, that sort of thing. You could lean more towards, I think that's very much like the Venus deck I made before, whereas this one I think I was leaning more towards the getting loads of cards in your hand kind of deck. Mother Ascani, I've played this card in like all my decks recently, so I don't think it needs too much more explaining. I've gone over the cards that work well with her, and Kahori, having your full hand is perfect, and in these decks, dishing out power onto the board is also excellent, so they kind of work in conjunction there. She has had that change where she doesn't dish out individual pieces of power, which before wasn't great for things like Venus, but it's actually really good for Submariner, because if it gives Submariner 4 power, you get a card in hand with 4 extra power, right? Which is very nice. And yeah, that about rounds up the entire deck. I am back now. I had a little bit of a break, went away for the weekend, but I am back in full swing. That's why this video is 1 day late. But I hope you guys enjoy it regardless. I managed to test this deck out a little bit before recording today, because I'm recording the next day. And I got, I believe, like a high 60% win rate. It was actually doing pretty decent. I was very happy with it. Submariner probably came in below expectations, but I suppose I'll save that for the review at the end before I get ahead of myself. Okay, we've got Submariner. I think I'll play it middle. Oh, snapping. Interesting. I don't feel confident enough to snap back, but I don't retreat turn 1 snaps. Okay, Collector. I think I want to Mother Ascani the Gambit. Oh, this is a little bit scary. There is that deck going around that... Oh, it's copied Venus. That copies Jubilee, Silver Surfer. Oh, yeah, I said I was going to Mother Ascani, right? Yeah. This could catch them off guard, but I need to find a way to generate cards to actually trigger it, which is not really likely right now. Unless I get the Raft. Actually, I hadn't considered that. I should be completely fine. I think maybe I just Marvel Boy clear this turn. Hide the Gambits behind the illusion. Or probably Aurora or something like that. But we've got Black Swan, we've got Submariner, Clear, Gambits, and the 6-drop. Hopefully the 6-drop isn't Destroyer. If it's not Destroyer, we'll be fine. If it is Destroyer, you know, it might not actually be the end of the world. Because I could Destroyer left, then play the rest of the cards in the middle, and just sacrifice right, because I'm technically sacrificing it right now anyway. Aurora. Okay. Happy with that, happy with that. We should be absolutely fine, I think. They're going to boost this side massively. Nice, okay. So it's definitely the two Gambits. We probably leave Hitmonkey out of this. I think I'm comfortable enough feeling assured that these Gambits are going to at least destroy one card in the middle. Do I want to risk that? Honestly, probably not. Alright, let's see how this goes. This is the big one, guys. Feel pretty confident. Right should... Well, right 100% will go to 13. The Gambits hit, like, Strange and some other things are pretty solid. They're likely to play the 2-star hooks they got. Did it get 2 right? Oh yeah, because whacking Torres with Nico. But I filled the middle. Right is going to be sort of weak, but I will generate 2 more cards. So collect will go to 7. Their clear will go to 1. They'll probably play something else there. It's a risky one. I was considering just leaving the middle at 3 cards, under the assumption that Gambits would destroy something. It's okay. Aurora is going to buff my right location quite a bit as well. Ooh, or not. I think we're still fine. This is the Gambits. No, we're still fine even without the Gambits. Nice. Very efficient. Victory. GG's, GG's. Oh, this is looking pretty good. Okay. SM with the Rascani is either going to be hitting Hitmonkey turn 5 or Kahori turn 4. I think Hitmonkey turn 5 is probably always better. Okay, the Iron Fist is actually quite nice here. Put it in. Get rid of Vormir. I think maybe we do it this way around. Okay. We ended up losing 3 power. Is this Cerebro? Interesting if it is. Yep.
Clear for takeoff.
Okay, will Gambit go off? Currently no. It'll only go to 4, so... I guess basic arrow is always better. Also, Gambit's pointless, seeing as they have armor up. Might be a little bit too risky. Okay, I'm curious to see what they pull out here. It could Gambit though, still. Maybe one of those where it pulls like... or it hits their Cerebro and I just win instantly. We'll see. It's a risky move. If Nightcrawler moves, then they lose the Cerebro buff. They're not playing Cerebro? Okay. What a strange day. Okay. I'm just baffled. Okay, we're gonna be able to win the White Hot Room Race. Right now it's looking like it will take 4 turns. Unless we draw a 2-drop and a 1-drop within the next 2 turns. Okay. They're not playing here. Interesting. Okay. They're going for the card draw. Could go for the Viv. Go for the Viv buffs. Snap. I will snap because I think it's probably going to be better for me than card draw. Card draw would be nice because then I could get Mother Ascani and things like that to help trigger Gambit. Supergiant's to be expected. We do Flames will trigger Gambit. If we do Hitmonkey, Hitmonkey should then technically go off on the last turn. This location is relying entirely on Hitmonkey to work. Gambit's not going to do anything. Or he could help. I think this works with Hitmonkey. Like, all of these cards should trigger it. That's fine. There's not a location I was betting on necessarily. It's also fine because my card won't get destroyed. Nice, nice. Generated before we play the other cards. Shadow King is fine because then all my other triggers come off afterwards. Nice. Very smooth. Victory. Helped by the fact that they got Professor X here, though. I imagine if they got their 5-drop here, I would have probably been in trouble. It was close on the right, though. Well, this is a pretty solid hand. We do Black Swan. Think so. They're playing the Nimrod deck. It would seem. Next turn I can do Marvel Boy, Clear. I can do Clear, Collector, and a 1-drop. It could be snap-worthy. Sure. We'll take these gambles. I saw the player was like top 900 and I was like, maybe I don't. Because they could know how to play around it if they get like a really good Nimrod play, but I do it more for the fun than anything else. Wow, okay, you could have waited one turn. That would have really been nice. Ah, we're close with Noir, but not close enough. Yeah, that's pretty good. Give me the 6-drop. Galactus. Not the best one for me to get, but not really complaining either. This is going to be Nimrod, right? Ooh. That's the first time I've had this happen. Second Submariner. Probably. Actually, is it probably not? I think that one of my main win conditions here is going to be getting Gambit Horseman of Death, and so I don't want to... I was going to say I don't want to reduce my chances of not getting a draw, but based on what my board state is right now, it's almost impossible for that not to happen. Marvel Boy is going to fill my hand regardless. Okay, if only I had Hitmonkey. Hitmonkey would have been pretty good here. I'm still going first, so I have a chance to reduce... I guess I just always reduce this Nimrod. Galactus. Yeah, we're on 14 out of 8. Yeah, that was... I was curious. I was like, is that the state before I played cards? But it is. I'm almost guaranteed to lose this, by the way. I'm just playing it because it's fun. Like, if they destroy with Carnage, then Venom here, and then Chaos ensues, and there's nothing I can do. But we play these for fun. Wow. Victory. You know, it really does benefit me to not retreat quite often. That's crazy. I also had another point to make that I just realized that even if I did draw Gambit, there was no way that was really helping me that much either. I guess if it destroyed like a Venom that had got all the power in one location, then yes, but otherwise it wouldn't have really done much. But wow. Okay, I'm surprised they retreated, but I guess they just didn't draw enough destroy cards. This is a tricky location. Viv would be pretty good for it though. Also, if we randomly got a Iron Fist off of the back of Submariner, that's another good one. Let's see what you hit. You hit Viv. Okay, my one chance to actually get into that location. That is a bit of a pain. Josie's would be pretty good if I had my 1-drops, which I don't. Makes more sense. Maybe? I don't know if playing Kahori is going to be my win condition. Not Kahori, Mother Ascani for Kahori. Possibly, no. Okay. Mother Ascani Acid Arrow. We're really on the edge here. Oh, they filled the... Oh, okay, that's fine. I was a little worried they filled the location. At least now they can't Aurora or Flames but at the same time, I'm kind of in trouble. Kahori into Kahori. Unless I do Black Swan Submariner, but that's not better, is it? I only considered it being slightly better because it gives another proc to Kahori, and this is the location I need power. Actually, it is better. Because I need Josie's to go off. And if for whatever reason Gambit comes out of my deck, I'll play the generated one. Not buffing the acid arrow. Yeah, I've not got enough power here to beat the Venus shenanigans. It's unfortunate though, because it was quite close. GG's, GG's. Hawkeye, Marble Boy, and just Hawkeye shenanigans. Unless we get better things for turn 3. Ooh, I think we do get better things for turn 3. No acid arrow, no acid arrow. Nice. Okay. One drop? Very nice. Okay. We probably don't kill this location. Do we? Because they could play a Brood here. Snap, like, I'm really tempted to go for that snap. But until I see what this resolves as, I should probably play it safe. Wow, okay. Can you blame me? Are they not retreating? I sort of want to hit Gambit with Mother Ascani, but that's probably not happening, is it? I also don't have any 1-drops. I'm in a bit of a weird position here. Let's just do that. They played it out. I guess maybe they feel confident enough in a Venus thing with Bishop there. Okay. This almost feels like a bot deck, but I know it's not a bot. Okay. This just feels a little bit weak, doesn't it? We'll see, we'll see. Beast, okay. Beast at Submariner, nice, okay. Making me feel slightly better. Actually, I'm pretty good here. Electro, get rid of their Electro. Gambit is a necessary evil. Overboy is the lowest power. Actually, he's not, is he? No, he is, because Clear and Agony would get buffs from the other two. Okay. This is seeming pretty solid. Get rid of their Electra, and hopefully Gambit gets rid of, like, their Hitmonkey or their Bishop. One of the two. Though he's quite likely to destroy a lot of 1-drops as well. If anything, I just need him to destroy something on the right side. Nice. Close one, but nice. Victory. Scary stuff, scary stuff. Okay, so Submariner was the bottom card of our deck. I'm quite glad we got him from Evanshire. It is the deck we're showing him off after all. This is a problem. I'm kind of a deck that wants to generate a bunch of power at different locations. So this could be problematic. We can try and get a Scarny Sun to put the card in the middle though. Ah, I'm glad I didn't put Acid Arrow on the right. Okay. Now their only scaler is Shadowlands Daredevil, meaning Hitmonkey could be pretty decent on the right. As much as I like Mother Ascani for Viv, I don't want Viv to go into bar with no name, so... Wow, okay. Did not realize that worked like that. That's pretty cool. Let's focus on this in that case. Why are you just so casually playing a demon? You trying to get it taken by Strange? Because that was a risky play if that was the case. Hitmonkey. Nope. Flames. Collector. It technically puts me below their power, but maybe Collector's overkill because Marvel Boy will hit Submariner and other things. Yeah, it's probably overkill, right? Let's see how this goes. What a weird game. They didn't proc a Scarny Sun as well. I mean, makes sense. Oh, that was such a funny game. We're up against a top 300 player. That's spooky stuff. I'm gonna play that one turn too early. Collector into Marvel Boy. Into Hawkeye and the 1-drops probably. They've got my Hawkeye. I think I'm feeling fairly confident. Ooh, I say as they snap. You know what? You're interesting me. I was almost tempted to snap back. But... They're probably doing Venus things or something along those lines. What was this? Viv. Ah. I mean, it's a pretty strong showing, I won't lie. Clear. You do Agony, clear. Hawkeye. We could do Hawkeye here. I actually feel like I'm in a strong position still, like almost snap worthy. But again, because of the player I'm up against, I'm a little bit hesitant. Rank 365. Gambit. Okay. I really do with my own gambit at this point. Not being able to play the 1-drops on the left is a little bit messy here. Hit monkey, acid arrow, flames. I know this acid arrow is going to get buffed, but I'm gonna risk playing it right. Probably not. Because if it gets blocked off, I could be in trouble. And then I need a good card from the end. Probably Gambit. I think I've played enough, right? No, well, not currently anyway. Okay, they removed their Quinjet ability. So that's nice. Now we need a good card, a Scani. Not exactly the card I was looking for. Putting a 1-drop here is decent still. We still play a Scani just so we're drawing here. Probably. And then grapple. Because these are only worth 3 and Proscentium, whatever the heck. Proscenium. Don't know where I got the T from. Yeah. We'll buff grapple arrow. Let's see. Because Gambit's scary. They're probably propping it here as well, relying on it to win.
There's no strings on me.
This location, rocking the drones, is actually disgusting. Please just hit Marvel Boy Gambit. I'll be over you. I actually don't. I just realized. If it hit Marble Boy, I still would have lost. It needed to hit Monkey. Ah, that one's a shame. So, Submariner, what do I think? The card actually is pretty good. Again, I think it's going to have the similar problem to Jubilee, where people aren't playing him in the optimal deck. They're trying to optimize his ability, as opposed to playing a deck where he's more consistent, I suppose. Sure, it's cool to get like a 20 power stick and give Submariner 20 power to get another 20 power 1-drop. Yes, I'm always going to love that kind of stuff. But I think to actually get the card working more consistently, you need to put him in a deck where he's generating more frequently, not larger, less frequent cards, right? For things like Collector and stuff. I did give him 5-star, I think, in my review. Definitely shoots in under that so far from what I've seen. He's probably closer to 3.5, 4. I could definitely see 4. It's going to take a few days of figuring out whereabouts he places, but this season looked like it was going to have a bunch of bangers, and so far some of them have fallen a bit. I do really still like Jubilee. I'm still going to hold on to that deck where I've got like a pretty high win rate. It did get me to Infinite as well, so not going to complain about that. I do still hold her in higher regards than a lot of people do. But a lot of people skipped her for that reason, and probably skipped Monstro, which is more understandable, I think. And then on top of that, next week we have, I can't remember her name, it's the Namor's cousin, basically. I think she's like a 3/4. If she's on her own at a location, she gives -1 cost to a card you draw. I somehow think that might be worse than Jubilee. Maybe that's a hot take, I don't know. But yeah, if you're looking for a card to get, probably get this, and then maybe save your tokens for when July starts, because again, it's looking insane. I think there's going to be a lot of cards that work with Jeff and Venus. A lot of like movement based end of turn, like buff cards if they moved kind of things. Nuts. Yeah, sure. But yeah, I hope that helps you guys decide whether Submariner is a card you want to get or not. And I hope you guys have a great day, and I will speak to you all next time.